Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Cole. It's Sunday night, October 27th, and this will be the Week 3 video for Political Science 1013, Fall 2024, the second 8-week term. Okay, everybody, we finished the first exam. We're going to move on now to the material for the midterm, the second exam, which will take place Thursday, November 7th. Now, for this exam, we're covering two more units. Unit 3 on the media and Unit 4 on the Constitution. Now, of the two, Unit 4 on the Constitution is much longer. So I suggest you take a quick look at the Unit 3 class notes and then go ahead and move on to Unit 4 later this week. I sent an announcement out, a series of announcements after we finished with Exam 1. And one of those is a note about the reading assignment for Unit 4. It's a lengthy reading assignment, but be sure and look at the remarks that I offered about that reading assignment. You want to get started on that fairly early because the 7th will be here before you know it. Basically, there are two things we're trying to achieve in the unit on the mass media. We want to take an overview of the media landscape, and that includes both old media and new media. By old media, we mean print and broadcast media, principally television, and print media, principally newspapers. New media, of course, refers to internet and mobile phone-based media, including social media, and internet-based media. Just about every media outlet, old and new, has an internet presence. But of course, social media has become very, very important, as I know everybody is aware. So, old media is losing ground to new media. Exactly to what extent old media will be supplanted by new media, it remains to be seen. It's still a situation that's in a state of flux. Beyond that, we also want to talk about issues that arise in news coverage. And a very important issue there that many students may have heard about is the issue of bias in the media. And we try to discuss that in the second part of the class notes for Unit 3. All right then, everybody, that takes us to Unit 4. To get you started on Unit 4, I might mention that a good bit of our class notes concerns the situation leading up to the drafting and adoption of the Constitution. We go through a considerable length of time. We emphasize that we've had, by the time we get to the Constitution, the adoption of the Constitution, we've had over 150 years of American history. And what happened was the country was quite small. At the time independence was declared, the entire United States had no more than 3 or 4 million people, no more than the population of one middle-sized state today. It was a relatively small part of the British Empire up to independence. And for much of those 150, 160 years, the British left the Americans alone. But a situation arose in which the British felt they had to impose, all of a sudden, relatively speaking, tighter control over the course of the 1750s and 1760s. And this, of course, the colonists took as a threat. And taxes were imposed for the purposes of fighting the French and Indian Wars, so-called. And so the rallying cry went up, no taxation without representation, and incidents such as the Boston Tea Party took place, leading to agitation in the colonies, the calling of a series of conventions, first the Annapolis Convention, to be followed by the Philadelphia Convention, which the Constitution, of course, was drafted. All right, in next week, a week from now, I will put an announcement out, and there I'll discuss that portion of the class notes in which we go through the details of the Constitution in some detail. Not every provision, but we do look at the original 7 articles, the Bill of Rights, the amendments adopted just after the Civil War, especially the 14th Amendment, and we also discuss uh, issues such as federalism, civil rights, and civil liberties. Now, those take up 3 of the 4 chapters you've been assigned from the textbook, chapters 3, 4, and 5. But I would say look at chapter 2 most closely, because it's the one that's concerned with the Constitution itself and the conditions that led to the adopting of the Constitution. Okay, so we'll have a bit more to say about the Constitution next week. Once again, your exam is coming up on the 7th. Everyone, we're going to run a discussion this week on Tuesday and Wednesday about TikTok. You've been asked to look at a very short article dealing with legislation that has actually already been adopted concerning TikTok, about which some concerns have been raised because its parent company is domiciled in China. Okay, so take a look at that, and we will discuss that Tuesday and Wednesday. Everybody, I need to double up and get a second discussion in before the midterm exam, because we've got to get a total of 5 in. So at one point during the term, we've got to double up and get 2 discussions in before, in between exams. So we'll do the first one, actually discussion 2, on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I will get another assignment out for discussion 3 over this coming weekend as soon as discussion 2 is over. So we're asking you to do a good bit between now and the midterm exam, a couple of discussions, and a fairly lengthy reading assignment dealing with Unit 4 on the Constitution. So we'll be having more to say about the Constitution next week. We'll have some more comments about the bulk of the class notes for Unit 4. I will also try to have a little bit to say about the election. The election, of course, is coming up on the 5th, and our exam will come up on the 7th. So when I talk to you next weekend, that will be the last time I talk to you before the election, about which everyone has heard quite a bit, and about which there's a fair amount of excitement, as there always is. But this one has been described as especially important. So look at Unit 3 and then get started on Unit 4. There'll be a discussion Tuesday and Wednesday, and then another one over the weekend, discussions 2 and 3, before we get in the midterm exam. So take it easy, study hard, contact me with any concerns, questions, or problems at david.cole at opsu.edu, or through the course website. And we'll be talking to you once again about a week from now at this time.